Okay, so it's still preserving time. So another quick video, and this time it's on pickled onions. Now pickled onions isn't the sort of thing that I would normally do a video on. I've been doing them for myself for years. And because I think that it's such an easy thing to do, it never occurred to me to do a video on it. But what prompted me sort of finally was we went to the farmer's market last weekend, and we'd actually run out of our own pickled onions, and we were browsing the stalls and I saw these, and it says on them award-winning spicy and crunchy pickled onions in pickled in hot vinegar, if you can see that there. Well, we got them home, opened them up expecting something really nice, and I'm sorry but they are soggy and they're sweet. Now, two things that pickled onion just should not be. That's sacrilege. So the wife's going to eat those because she quite likes them, but I think they're disgusting. So I'm sorry, Chiltern Brewery, that's a no-no for me. So I thought I'd do a quick video and show you exactly how to do proper, crunchy, spicy pickled onions. So what I'm going to use, we've got, these are actually shallots. Now, there's very little difference in shallots and onions. You can buy pickled onion or pickling onions from the supermarket or from your local grocer, but they didn't have any, so these are what I'm going to use, and they're perfectly okay. Some peppercorns and some bird's eye chilies. These I will pop and take out the seeds. I won't put them in whole, although I suppose you can, there's no reason why you can't, but I've always taken the seeds out. Ordinary peppercorns. And then the other thing I always use this Sarson's. This isn't an advert for them of any way, shape or form, they're not paying me, but I do like their vinegar. It's ready spiced, if you can see there, and it doesn't actually say what the spices are. I've had a look on the side and it just says natural spice flavourings. So anyway, that's what we're going to use. I use an empty bottle from the vinegar to make my onions in. I used to do them in little tiny jars like I did the chilli and crabapple jelly in, but I find I get through them too quickly because you can't actually get many in a small jar, so I just do them in a big jar and use them as and when I want them. So let's crack on. So I like an onion that's about, I don't know what sort of size you'd call that, much smaller than a golf ball, but I don't know, I suppose about an inch across, whatever size of ball that is. Anyway, that's the sort of size I like. You can get these big ones, and this feels like it's going to be a double, which you can split down the middle. That one's a little bit big, and again that one feels like a double. But all these, perfect sort of size. So what we're going to do, I'm going to do this as if no one's ever made pickled onions before in their life, just because there's bound to be one or two people who never have, and I don't want to keep getting questions, you know, what should I have done here, there and everywhere. So I'm going to treat all of you as if you've never done it before. I'm just going to top and tail them, just take a little bit off the top and the bottom, and now all this brown skin's got to come off. So sometimes you can be lucky and it'll all come off in one go. Other times it can be a little bit fiddly, and you just got to persevere. So there's one of the skins there. But if you've got a reasonably sharp knife, you can get under them and just sort of hoik it off. If you've got, you know, a few people in the family that want to eat these, sit them all down one day and you can do quite a batch in no time at all. And there you go, that's all off of that one. And so that's basically how we want them. Bung them in the jar. So, same old, top and tail. You can sometimes do that and it'll come off. Sometimes they come off really easily. Other times they're a right pain. But you've got to get it all off. There's no point leaving any of it on. It'll just spoil them. And there's another one. don't even know if that was in shot, but let's do one more and then I'll get the rest done and come back and show you what after that. Yeah, right, fiddly sometimes. If you do struggle, you can do what's happened here, is take one layer of skin off of the actual onion. It makes the onion a little bit smaller, but it gets everything off all in one go. And then you sometimes get this little silver skin. Just pull that off, and then you've got another onion all ready to go. So I'm going to get this lot done. I've got about 800 grams, just under a kilo to do. So I'll be back once I've got them peeled. I've got quite a few of them done, but I just thought I'd show you what I meant by a double onion when I was talking earlier. And this is one that I've just peeled, and you can see it's like two separate onions that have grown together. So you can split them up and it just makes two smaller onions. So that's basically all I meant by that. And let's see, this one I think is going to be, is it that one? No, this one's going to be the same. Let's see if I can have a look at this one. Get as much skin off as possible. You don't want to be doing this in a draft. All this skin stuff goes everywhere. Every so often, go and chuck it in the bin. Now this is another one, but it's got like an extra skin on, which is a bit wrinkly and nasty, so I'm just going to whip that off. That's a nasty outer skin, and as you can see, same thing. We've got two onions. So that's all that means. Oh, excuse me, that's all that means when I say about the doubles. So I'll do a few more, get them finished, and show you what we do next. Okay, so I've got them all peeled. I've filled up one of the jars, and you want to get them in reasonably tightly, but don't force them in. You don't want to bruise them and damage them at all, but you want to try and fill up as many of the spaces around the jar as you can. I usually just give them a bit of a shake, and that sort of settles them down. So that's basically all there is to it. You've done the hard work. So if any time you're making pickled onions and anyone says to you, oh, you've got to get a vinegar hot, you've got to boil them, you've got to put them in brine, you've got to do this, forget it. Take no notice. Don't get heat anywhere near your pickled onions. That's what kills them. Everything is done cold. So next thing, your bird's eye chilies. Now, for a jar this size, I would normally use about, I don't know, the contents of about 10 of these. And they're very easy to split open. Just literally break the top off or the bottom, and then sort of, I don't know if you can see that, sort of squeeze the casing until all the seeds come out, or the majority of the seeds. Again, it can be a little bit fiddly, and there probably isn't any reason why you can't just put these in whole, but I always put them in individually. So just whip the top off, there's a seed there, and then just sort of squeeze out the seeds. They come out quite easily. Give them a little wiggle, and then you've got your empty cases. So we do about, I don't know, let's say I normally do about 10 of these for a jar this size. Well, that's 3 anyway. And also your peppercorns. Again, just a, I don't know, what's that, small handful, probably half a teaspoonful or maybe 3/4 of a teaspoonful. Chuck them in. So a couple more for good luck. I don't crush them, don't do anything else with them, just chuck them in. And then all you do is top it up with vinegar. So let's get the rest of the chilies in, and then we'll top her up. And this is another one of those jobs, like the crab apple and chilli jelly I did. When you're dealing with these things, you don't want to be rubbing your eyes or going to the toilet in the middle of doing this, unless you thoroughly wash your hands. Because this stuff, I don't know why, I think they might have little hairs on them and they stick, and if you don't have your hands thoroughly scrubbed, you will be in trouble. Right, so that's got all the chilies in, the peppers in, so now all we've got to do is top it up with vinegar. So I've got one here that's the remainder from the last lot of onions I did, so I'm going to use this one up. Literally just pour it in until it's right to the top. I'm going to make sure, there we go, the onions are thoroughly covered. Just put your lid back on, make sure it's tight, give it a bit of a shake up, get all those chilies and peppercorns around. And I'll probably do that once a week maybe, for the first couple of weeks, just to make sure everything's getting a real good mix up. So that'll take about, I don't know, 4 weeks, 5 weeks maybe, before they're ready. So keep them somewhere cool and out of direct sunlight, and in, say, 4, 5, 6 weeks they're going to be lush. So let's put them away somewhere. Right, so I've tucked them away under the stairs with a few other bottles, and as I say, 4, 5, 6 weeks time, if I can wait that long, because I usually can't resist, they'll be really nice. So don't let anyone tell you any different about boiling them, putting salt in them, putting sugar in, any of that old nonsense. Just the onions, your chilies, your peppercorns and cold vinegar. That's all there is to it. So thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.